Yeah, g'day guys, Steve here from Factory Restos Australia. Just packing up out in the shed. Got pretty hot today, about 39 degrees, so it was getting quite hot. Knocked off about 5 o'clock, had a couple of beers, went for a swim in the pool, feeling a lot better now, so yeah. But still had a pretty good day. Got a coat of jam on this petrol tank panel, and got a coat of jam on the spare wheel holder panel, I suppose you'd call it. But yeah, really happy the way this petrol tank panel's come up. It's, these modern primers are bloody brilliant to work with. You just sort of throw them on with a 2mm nozzle on it, and geez, it just goes on like jam. It's bloody beautiful. So yeah, really pleased. This is a pretty straight panel. It's one I bought second hand, and it's turned out to be pretty good. Haven't really had to do too much to it, just a little bit of panel beating here and there. I did miss one spot somewhere, but yeah, it's just its first coat, and obviously we'll fit it up and make sure it's all happy, and then we'll start sanding and do the final work on it, but I'll probably get a panel beater to do that. But yeah, so really pleased with that. Absolutely stoked. Been working mainly on the ute in the sides. So down the sides here where there's a little rebate for this panel to sit on, and obviously the rear of the cabin sits here, so the glass is here, and then there's the parcel shelf and it comes down here. So there's a rebate that I've welded up with the drain panel, and we've got that side as well, and I'll drop some footage in of that, of what I've been doing with those sorts of things. So done that. Also down the braces in front of there's a little square brace in front of the back wheels. So where the chassis come down to the back wheels, there's a brace there. I had a little damage, a little bit of pitting on that one, so I fixed one of those. Again, I'll drop all footage into this. And then obviously this side was pretty good. So yeah, but just sandblasting and cleaning them all up, putting 2K epoxy in them into the chassis rails, and I'm going to do some chassis black in there as well, so they'll be quite waterproof in their own right. But yeah, got this done today, so that's good. Fair bit of work in it. I do it the old-fashioned way. I'm not a huge fan of, sandblasting the shit out of things, and likewise bloody acid dipping and that sort of stuff. You lose all your e-coat on the inside of the rails and that sort of stuff. So I just sort of tend to wire brush them back and then sand them back, and then wherever I need to, I do a bit of paint stripper and then sand them back again. A little bit of rust, maybe I'll do a bit of rust treatment, but that's how I do them, and I'm really happy the way this one's come up. But I'll show you the just out here packing up. I'll show you the spare wheel cover. It's probably the part I'm happiest with, I think, because this was out of the van, this one, and so yeah, that come up really good. It's I've had to straighten it across here, and we got the threads working here. I think they're 1/4 inch Whitworth, I think, from memory. Got all those working, yeah, but this has come up really good. It's, as I say, come out of the panel van. It was pretty undamaged. A little bit of a couple of holes been drilled into it, but I welded those up, and yeah, just give it a bit of a touch up and a little bit of panel beating, and I'm really pleased it's come up good. So by the way, if anyone can tell me what that's for, I'm still waiting on an answer on that. I don't know what that little bracket's for in these spare wheel panels. But yeah, a little bit of progress there. So from here, basically I want to just start now focusing on the floor plan. So hopefully with the next video I'll have the floors in, the parcel shelf in, and it all welded up and looking good. And I'll probably do a trial fit of the petrol tank as well too. So hopefully that's where we'll be next time. But anyway, guys, I'm going to drop a heap of footage in of what I've been up to. I'm not going to waffle on too much, and you can see the progress as we go along. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. work out how to interact that with that. I'm going to go like that. So I can run that one behind, which is what I was figuring. And switch weld that to that, and that to my plate I'm welding in. Just need a little repair on the angle there. While we've got this open, we'll just put a little bit of angle in there and grind that little tag off, which is part of this. You can see that part there will just weld onto there, so I'll grind that tag off. You can leave, not sure if you can see that, but you can leave that tag on there. That will weld onto that tag, so I just work out where I'm going to cut this off. And there's no reason why I can't weld that to that, but weld the top there, weld an angle in there to weld that to. I'll weld that down to that, and that into that. Simples. Simples, really? Yes. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think we'll be writing this one off, guys. They're pitting in there in that bottom rail. Listen, if you're probably desperate, you could save it, but it's got a big warp in it, and a fair bit of rust damage. It's savable. You'd probably want to reinforce this part, and you'd have to straighten it. It's got more of a hole there. The top edge is not too bad, but overall it's got a big bow in it, so that's going to be a challenge, just straightening that. So there is aftermarket versions, or might see if we can get one second hand, I think. Yeah. So this is by far the worst structural damage I've seen so far. In fact, it's the only structural damage. Obviously there's silver structural here, but you can see the inside plate is in really good condition here. All this ribbing, all this chassis rails, all in really good condition. But yeah, this little brace plate in here, it's quite rusted. Not sure why, but obviously there's been material, dirt and grit getting in there. Other side's quite good, no problems at all, and the underside looks quite good. But you can actually see there's rust holes going through. There's one there, there, and there. Maybe that one's another one. That one's a drain hole, but yeah, quite rusted. Quite not sure why in one particular spot, but that's the way of this car. So what I'm going to do is weld a piece of plate in here, and then I'm going to cut that shape out of it there. And once I've welded that in, then I'll weld another plate over the top as well. So we'll plug weld it all in. We'll put the plug welds where they're still good metal, and that'll brace that all up. This is not seen, it's under the floor pan, so I'm not too concerned about it not looking original. It still looks very original underneath, and once I've got these other bits of metal in, I'll weld up these little rust holes, probably drill them out, and weld them up from when I flip it up into the rotisserie, so to speak. But yeah, all the rest of it's really good. These chassis rails really nice and strong, no pitting or anything down in there. Really good condition. I'll make sure I get plenty of paint in there, some 2K epoxy and some black underbody sort of paint as well. But yeah, the main structural member through here, all nice, all great. That's obviously part of the sill, so when I do the sills I can weld that from here and from the outside on the bottom and the inside on the top here. But yeah, and this piece here will seam on that. I'll cut a seam in a little replacement panel, but that's got to be welded in as part of the sill. So, but yeah, this main structural member through here is in really good condition, both sides. I can see the other side through the holes in the sill. So everything else is good, but yeah, that's by far the worst structural damage I've come across so far. We haven't pulled out the torque boxes yet, but yeah, we'll have a look at those. But yeah, they didn't look too bad on initial inspection, so anyhow, we'll see how we go. We'll weld some plates in there and keep it moving. So I've got those pieces welded in. That's a weld through primer over the top of this area where I'm going to weld over the top of. So I've got those pieces welded in, and we're going to weld that over the top. And what that allows me to do is once I get the car in the rotisserie, I'll get all this primed up and sealed up. But once I get the car in the rotisserie, I can weld up these little blow throughs here that are rust holes. Wasn't happy with those. You can see a little bit of pitting there. Not so worried about that pitting out there. I don't think that's what it's quite thick metal. I don't think that's anything to worry about, but certainly I was worried about these blow throughs here where there's rust holes. So yeah, once I get the car in the rotisserie, I'll be able to weld back through to these plates, so to speak. So yeah, I'll grind them out and just weld it all up. But yeah, that's two layers of 1.2, so that's 2.4 millimeters of steel, which is about what that thick stuff is there, sort of thing. So maybe not, maybe that's yeah, not sure, that might be just 1.2, but certainly I'm going to have plenty of steel there and plenty of strength back in it. So yeah, we'll weld this plate in and then we'll get it all covered up. As I say, once the floor pans go in, we'll clean all those welds up and get all that ready. That goes down there. Yeah, a little bit of work with this guard, done the other side, but yeah, a little bit of work with that guard, and then we can put all these floor pans in, which will be very, very exciting. Wow, you look at that. There's life in the old thread yet.